Hi, I'm Stephen and you're watching McVie Cruise and Travel. Thank you for joining me in this video where we show you everything that we got up to on our first day in San Francisco. And here's a quick peek of what's coming up. I booked this trip as a surprise for my husband Glenn's 50th birthday. San Francisco was definitely the right choice for this. It's somewhere we've talked about going before, and there are so many iconic places there to see. Our flight from Heathrow was about 10.5 hours, but actually felt like it went pretty quick. We had a pickup arranged to take us from the airport down to our hotel in Fisherman's Wharf. It only took about 30 minutes, but the drive into the city was really nice, and getting to see the skyline coming up in the distance was just really exciting. Before we get into the details of our first full day here, we did explore a little bit that evening. We needed food and we wanted to have a little look around. So we walked down to Pier 39 and Fisherman's Wharf and stopped in at Boudin because I'd read about their famous clam chowder in a sourdough bread bowl and we had to try it. And I have to tell you, it was delicious. After that, we took a walk up to Ghirardelli Square. I'd done my research and I knew we had to go there for chocolate fudge sundaes, and it was definitely the right choice. So this was our hotel, the Hyatt Centric at Fisherman's Wharf. It was really nice. I'd recommend it as a good place to stay. It was in a good central location for everything at Fisherman's Wharf, as well as Pier 39. And also there were two of the cable car turnarounds nearby as well, so all very handy. We wanted to try and see as much as possible while we were here, and so on this day we decided to take one of the hop-on, hop-off bus tours to get around. In bigger cities it's a good way to get around some of the places that you wouldn't be able to get to otherwise. The first bus wasn't until about 10 o'clock, so we had a bit of time to just wander around in the daylight and actually get to see things for the first time. We checked out Fisherman's Wharf again and we're excited to get our first glimpse out to Alcatraz. Then we headed over to Pier 39 to have a walk up through. It may have only been about 8:30 in the morning, but we were really surprised how few people there were walking around. It might be seen as a tourist trap, but there are still nice places to come here, good places to eat and some good shops. And so it's got to be on your list of things to do when you come to San Francisco. We got to the end of Pier 39 and got some more views of Alcatraz, and then spotted the Golden Gate Bridge off in the distance. It was amazing to see it, and we'll be getting a closer view later on. I was hoping we'd be lucky and get to see some sea lions here as well. Because it was winter, I wasn't sure how many there'd be, but we were lucky there was a good group of them there actually. It was nice just to watch them squabbling amongst themselves, hear their little noises, and we'd be back a few times over our stay just to check in on them. The hotel had given us some vouchers for discounts on a couple of places that we could eat. One of them was up at Pier 39 called the Eagle Cafe. So we came here for breakfast. I had a really nice breakfast burrito and Glenn had the breakfast sandwich, and we thought that would set us up for the day of exploring. Coming out of there, we spotted this cruise ship docked up in the distance. We'd absolutely love to sail out of San Francisco. I think it'd be amazing to go under the Golden Gate Bridge. It was coming up to 10 o'clock, so we headed back to get our bus. We were using the big bus tour company, and they start from Fisherman's Wharf. So we hopped on and we were looking forward to getting to see everything. It's such a big city and there are so many things to see, but we had a bit of an idea of where we were going to go and where we were going to get off. Our first stop off was going to be Union Square, one of the main shopping areas. On the way we got to drive through a lot of the different neighbourhoods like North Beach and Chinatown, and some places that we'd like to go back to if we had more time later in the week. We hopped off at Union Square to have a walk around. It was the start of December, so everything was starting to look nice and Christmassy. We got to see our first cable car here, and one of those weird Tesla Cybertruck. And this is a Waymo, a driverless car. It's like an Uber, but without a driver. Unfortunately, we didn't get a chance to try it. We decided to head into Macy's just to have a little look around, and then spotted that there was a cheesecake factory up at the top, so we couldn't resist that opportunity to try it out. I mean, look at all this delicious cheesecake. I picked a Reese's Peanut Buttercup cheesecake and Glenn chose a banana cream pie, and both were amazing. Although it was December, it was certainly warm enough for us to sit outside with these great views of Union Square. Back on the bus, we headed past the Golden Gate Theatre, where we'd be coming later in the week for a big surprise, although it wasn't Shrek as is displayed here. This was a civic centre area and the impressive City Hall in the background. It would have been nice to have got off and had a proper look around, but unfortunately we didn't have enough time. Even just driving through the residential area was pretty cool, and seeing all the architecture of the houses. Our next stop off was Alamo Square for the Painted Ladies. Although I have to admit, I don't think I've seen anything that they were featured in. It was good to get to see them, and I know they're famous. There are great views over the city skyline from here as well. Wherever we go, I'm always on the lookout for doggies, so it was nice to see them playing around in the park here. Back on the bus, we headed through the Haight-Ashbury district, which is famous for being one of the main areas for the hippie movement. It was certainly very lively and very colourful. We're now heading into the Golden Gate Park, and we got off here to have a look around. The park is huge, it's about 3.5 miles long, and there's so much here to see and do. There's a few museums, and the Japanese tea gardens, and way on further down there is a big bison paddock, so you can go and see the bison, which is pretty cool. We took a short walk around, got to see a little bit of the park, and then headed back to the bus to move us on to our next stop, which was going to be exciting. And next we were off to see the Golden Gate Bridge. Seeing it looming close was really exciting, and driving over it was kind of exhilarating. The mix of the noise, the wind and the views, holding onto my phone so tightly so it wouldn't blow away. It was all pretty awesome. We got off the bus at Vista Point on the other side of the bridge to take in the views and have a walk around. We walked halfway across the bridge and it was really impressive to see it up close, and amazing views back to the city as well. We've seen the Golden Gate Bridge in so many films and programs over the years, but it was so cool to actually be there and be on it. Last stop for the day was the Palace of Fine Arts, which is absolutely beautiful. Learned on a trip that we took the next day that this was supposed to be a temporary structure for a World's Fair built in 1915. Everything else that was built for that got torn down, but the residents made sure that this stayed. And you can see why. It's amazing just to walk around here. From there, we walked over to Crissyfield Beach, just across the road, and we were lucky to time it just right for the sunset going down, looking out to Golden Gate Bridge. We had just about managed to catch the last bus back to Fisherman's Wharf, and it was time for dinner. We'd heard about a place called the Buena Vista Cafe, which is apparently famous for bringing Irish coffee to America. So we thought it'd be rude not to go and try some out. I had something called a French dip, which I hadn't heard of before. It was a steak sandwich with a beef broth dip, and it was so good. And Glenn had a open-faced turkey sandwich, I think. We had no choice but to finish it off with a couple of Irish coffees as well. After dinner, we headed back to our hotel to get a good night's sleep, ready for an early morning the next day. We had a trip booked to go out to Mere Woods and Sausalito which we were looking forward to. So we wanted to make sure we were well rested for that. We had such an amazing first day, so many good sights. I would really recommend using the hop-on, hop-off bus tour if you're not sure on the best way to get around the city. Everything's so spread out, so it can be difficult to get to see a lot of different things. So this was a good way to do it. But I hope you enjoyed coming along on the ride as well. Please give the video a like and subscribe to the channel just to help me grow further. And also you'll be notified of the next video that is coming soon. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.